is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm bringing you what is probably going to end up being my most useful video yet: how to restore your faded headlights properly. So there's one step at the end that most people I've seen do this omit, and that's why after a couple months your headlights go back to looking yellow again, even though they look perfect the day you did them. So make sure you stay tuned till the end to figure out what that last step is. Let's jump in. First things first, here's what we're starting with. Also, I wrapped the Chevy emblem. I got bored after the last video, so that came out pretty good. I had some spare vinyl laying around. I'm getting a little too good at those. But here are the headlights, how they currently look. These things are pretty bad. They're pretty faded. They do have 260,000 miles on them. So make sure we get a little before, make the after that much better. So one thing about the Chevrolet headlights, you guys can see they have this chrome trim on them. Well, I watched videos on how to remove that, and I don't think I've seen many where people get it off without breaking it, because it is 3M taped on there pretty well. So we're not gonna mess with any of that. We're not gonna remove it. We're just gonna try to get as close as we can into the edges right there at the bottom and the top, and see what we can do. It's not a show truck, it's a work truck. Relax. As far as supplies go, here's what you guys are gonna need. I got some water and Blue Dawn dish soap in a bucket, some blue painter's tape, 2 rolls, 2 different sizes, your sandpaper. I got 1200 grit, 1500 grit, 2000 grit, which you can usually finish out with, and 2500 just in case. Sanding block. Make sure you guys are using a sanding block, especially if you're sanding plastic headlights. What this does, you wrap the sandpaper around it. If you guys are unfamiliar with wet sanding, you go ahead and sand this like you normally would, but this block is going to evenly distribute the pressure from your hand, so you don't end up with any grooves as if your fingers were on the back of the sandpaper. And this is going to polish up way nicer with the sanding block. So prep is everything, just like when you're painting. Some wipe down spray. This is my favorite, little IPA wipe down to get all that gunk off there. Polisher to polish them out. You do not need to use a polisher, but it does make it go a lot quicker. Microfiber pad cleaner brush. If you're OCD like me, you got to keep your pads clean. And your favorite correction compound. Anything off the shelf at the store will work, but this is my favorite. I keep this around by the bottle for when I do clients' cars. Just car correcting compound, and it says right here, eliminates 1500 grit, sanding marks, oxidation, and scratches. So we're going to take these down to 2000. We should have no problem getting the marks out. And these two right here are the final step. It's the most important part. I will tell you guys what it is and why we're going to use it now.
Got him! Got him!
So step number 1, I took the 1200 grit, threw it in the bucket. I'm letting it soak so it'll be ready to go when we're ready to use it. What you're going to do is you're going to go up progressively with each grit. So we're going to start with the 1200 grit. We're going to sand the headlight until it's a nice smooth finish. And then we're going to go to the 1500 grit and do the same thing. And then we're going to go back with the 2000 grit, which is probably what I'll finish out with. Once again, sand it till it's nice and smooth. What you're doing is refining the surface of the headlight so that when you hit it with the polisher, it polishes out perfectly. So I'm probably going to time lapse it. This should be ready to go. Let's go. All right, guys, make sure you tape up the headlight. If it's like mine, there's this chrome around it. We do not want to sand the chrome. We just want to sand the headlight. So I just really quick taped it up. I really didn't do too crazy of a job on it. I like to leave myself a little spot to peel it off right there after. But now let's get into the fun part. All right, guys, so we got these things sanded all the way down to 2000 grit. I started with the 1200, went to 1500, and finished out at 2000. They look pretty good. They feel really, really smooth. I think some of the hazing may actually be on the inside of the lens as well. And I think I might have been able to start with 1000 or even 800, but again, not a show truck. We're going for improvement, and show you guys how to do this. So we got the flex set up. We go ahead and get some compound on here and see if we can get these bad boys polished up. All right, guys, so the flex finished out okay. The problem is the pad is just a little bit too big to get in the headlights, being that they're square. So I'm switching over to the DA. I've got a 3-inch foam cutting pad, and I got some Jescar micro finishing polish. So that pad will give me a little more cut to pick up whatever the flex didn't, and this will finish out much nicer than the correction compound. So let's get at it. I feel like I could still pull a little bit better of a finish out of this, so we switched to a black polishing pad. We're gonna go at it again with the micro finishing polish to finish it out as nice as possible and see where we end up. We done. Almost done. They actually finished out really nice. I think that last little polish was the ticket. There still is a little staining on the inside of the driver's side headlight, but way better than what we started with. There's a before. And there's an after for you. So this thing looks really good. Huge improvement over what it was. Definitely beats buying new headlights. By no means is it perfect. The lenses are still a little worn from the inside, and you can see right there, looks like something got in it at some point and dripped. But overall, that's freaking awesome. Huge difference compared to that. So now I'm gonna tell you guys the final step once you get your headlight all polished back up and why. So what you're doing when you're sanding this headlight is you are removing the factory coating on the headlight. That's what goes bad. That is what causes your headlights to yellow. Once you do that, there is nothing protecting this new beautiful finish because there is no coating being applied. So when a lot of people do these how-to videos, they tell you, you know, that's it right there, you're good, it's done. Well, in a couple months, it's gonna go right back to looking like this unless you put a coating on it. So that is why we have some leftover ceramic coating. This is my favorite stuff. I use the hell out of this. CarPro C-Quartz, some leftover from a client's car, ceramic coating. We're gonna go ahead and coat the fresh headlight. That way we lock in that freshness for it's a 2-year coating, so bare minimum the next 2 years. But the way I take care of my vehicles and keep up with them, it'll last me the life of this truck. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that and show you guys that process. It's pretty quick. It's really not that interesting, but that's the final step for us here. Also, you guys don't have to use a ceramic coating. You can use anything, sealant, wax, silica spray, anything you can put on top of that headlight that is going to protect it. The coatings are easy for me. I do them all day long. I have a bunch of this stuff laying around, and it eliminates a lot of the upkeep for me. Any waxes or sealants you're going to have to reapply every 4 to 6 months max, depending on how you take care of your car. This coating, I can leave it outside, not touch it for a year, come back, it's still gonna have those headlights protected a year later, but I'm a little bit better than that with maintenance. All right, y'all, there she is. One freshly ceramic coated headlight. Looking really good, and she's protected. So this will not happen again, because that's bad. That's really bad. Look at that. As always, thank you guys for watching. Hope you learned something in this video. If you did, drop me a comment, hit the like button, make sure you're subscribed for the next one. Catch you next week. Hi guys, me again. You'd be surprised how fast you can work when you ain't worried about a camera. The passenger side is done. It actually came out a little bit better than the driver's side, I think. Still does have that little drip in it, but overall, a huge improvement from what we started with. I'll have to drop a little before front end photo. I know I got a couple, but look at that.